Hello friends, this is Renee from Little Village Homestead, and with me is my future daughter-in-law, Lexi.
Hi.
We're going to do a pantry chat today. Again, you know, stocking your pantry on a budget. And we already covered some of the basics, and then we went through and did a lot of the, we touched base on food expiration. So this time, we brought in her handy-dandy computer so that we could get on the USDA website and give you very accurate information, and also give you the website where we're getting the information from. So we decided to do this together because you guys are all almost done remodeling their house, and she gets to have a
Pantry.
So she literally is starting from scratch, which is perfect for our budgeting or stocking your pantry on a budget chit chats. So with that, she's going to tell us, we're going to help her, and she's going to tell us different foods that she eats, and things that she wants readily in her pantry. And we're going to let her know, if she can buy in bulk and what would be the best way to buy it and the best way to stock it. So, with that being said, I just need to grab an ink pen and another piece of paper. So you can just tell them where you're at. Shelf stable food safety. That's perfect. Perfect. And you can let them know the website and then where you're at. And I'll be right back.
Okay. I am at www.fsis.usda.gov, and I searched up shelf life, and it brought me to this PDF, and it's called Shelf Stable Food Safety. And it is giving me all the information about canned foods. And it's actually telling me the history of canning and canned foods.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, what does shelf stable mean? Well, I believe they all know that. Okay, well, you can tell them. You can read that. She wants to do like shelf-stable foods. So that would be your beans and rice and, all your canned goods and your, oh, go on. You can read that.
Okay, it says, what does shelf-stable mean? Foods that can be safely stored at room temperature or on a shelf are called shelf-stable. These non-perishable products include jerky, country hams, canned and bottled foods, rice, pasta, flour, sugar, spices, oils, and food processed in aseptic or retort packages, and other products that do not require refrigeration until after opening. Not all canned goods are shelf stable. Some canned foods, such as some canned ham and seafood, are not safe at room temperature. These will be labeled keep refrigerated.
Oh, beautiful. So we won't go any farther. Okay, we won't have to go any farther. So what we need to do, so if you're starting your pantry with nothing, a big empty space. You got a nice big one.
Yes.
I love mine. Mine's huge. Anyway, bigger space is a lot more work. Mm-hmm. But mine feeds... You've went shopping.
The whole family.
She's been shopping in here quite a few times. Anyway, so with Lexi, this is perfect because what do you guys like to eat? Like the beans and the rice. Rice? You always have rice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to write down rice would be your first #1 shelf-stable food. Rice will store... I don't know if we can find them. Rice will store for 30 plus years in good packaging. It'll store for 30 plus years. You can literally buy rice in the packages, you know, that they come in. And I usually just stick mine in another Ziploc bag. That can stay for 30 years. Now, a lot of people tell you, the preppers will get rice, 30 to 100 pounds of rice, and they'll put it in 5-gallon containers. And they always use an oxygen absorber and then seal it up. So that takes the oxygen out of that. So it'll store for 30 years. And I know there was a gentleman, I saw his video a few years back. He had packaged his rice in a 5-gallon pail, put oxygen absorbers in it, and dated it like back in the early 70s. And he had just opened it up, you know, I think it was like 2005 or 6, somewhere. And it was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Wow.
But so rice would be your number one, and that's best to buy in bulk. Cheapest to buy in bulk. Plus, for some reason, I get a lot of people that give me rice because they say, oh, they get the government surplus. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they'll get rice, and they'll say, oh, I don't like this. I don't eat rice. Here, you can have it. So I'll have 6, 7, 8 bags of rice. I don't think I bought jasmine rice a year ago. Otherwise, it's given to me. Brown rice, white rice, it's all given to me. So rice is your number one. And you could buy that in bulk. Okay? And for your family, oh, you know, how much rice do you eat?
Not as much as pasta.
Pasta.
We love pasta.
So pasta would be number 2. You want to stock with pasta. And pasta will last the same thing. Pasta, it's dehydrated. I know there's eggs and all that in pasta when they make it, but it is dehydrated. I don't believe it lasts as long as rice, but I could be wrong. We need to look up here on another tab and find the shelf life of pasta. Because I think it'll last 25, 30 years too, unless the stuff gets buggy.
Right.
Anyway, but if you're going to buy it in bulk, especially if you get a good buy on it, you know. Right now you can go in the store and buy pasta, a pound of it for 99 cents.
Yes.
But, you know, there might be in bulk, you might be able to buy it for 70 cents or, you know. Dried pasta will last for, well, how do you like this? Dried pasta will last for 1 to 2 years beyond the best by date. That doesn't mean, remember when we did our expiration dates? I'm drawing a blank. Dried pasta will last for 1 to 2 years beyond a best by date. The best by date really doesn't pertain to us. But this doesn't mean that it's going to be no good in 1 to 2 years or after 1 to 2 years. That just means, the best by date means that it will definitely start losing its freshness and its quality. Say it. And it says fresh pasta will last 4 to 5 days. All that, we're not doing fresh pasta. I think we need to go on, because we're giving them, I think we need to go back to USDA and type in pasta, shelf life of pasta. And pasta you can buy in bulk too. And pasta and rice both they'll stretch meals, you know, many things. You can make many dishes out of pasta and rice. And Tony, my son, I know he'll just take rice and eat it with just butter and salt and pepper. Yeah. So, let's see. It doesn't have it in there. That's just, you can get a lot of information off here. But anyway, pasta, yeah, I've had pasta for years and years and years, and I've never had it go bad. Now I have had flour, which we're going to get on that, but pasta in bulk. And even at that, you can get pasta if you want to, you know, like next time you go grocery shopping, which you always do anyway, you go grocery shopping and then you always add how much extra for your pantry stock.
We go by the list, and then if we have any extra, we stock up for our pantry.
And you usually buy what for the pantry?
Green beans, corn, extra pasta noodles.
Yeah. See that's how, and then you just stick that in a shelf, and you usually don't get touched, so you got quite a bit to start your pantry already.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, that works good. And you guys go by a list.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them how you do it.
So what we do is that we look at the grocery flyer and we pick out all the important stuff first, like milk and for Tony, coffee. And then after we stick to that list, we stick to that list in the store first. And then once we see that we have like $100 or $150 left over, that's when we go out and buy the rest of the stuff, like extra pasta noodles, extra veggies, extra meat.
Well, you guys do your grocery budget monthly. They don't go to the grocery store every week. So when she says $150, I'm looking at her like, wow, wouldn't that be nice to have $150 every week? Because most people go every week. They go every month.
Yes.
Some people don't like going to the grocery store, so they get it in month quantities. So that's nice. That's like, that's like, what, $30, $40 extra each week. And I always used to say, if you're going to do, for your pantry, maybe throw in an extra, sometimes you might only be able to do $5, but, an extra $10, $20 and just dedicate it strictly to your pantry. Because after a while, that pantry's going to get stocked. And it's going to be a good working pantry. So you need to put rice in your pantry. And the best way to do that is you can get 25-pound bags of rice. Because you guys do go through quite a bit of rice.
Yeah.
I always stock my pantry. I know I'm not an extreme prepper. And I try and stock my pantry with the exception of my canned goods. Because those are good for, up to 6 years, 6, 7 years. And if they're even good after that, sometimes it can be indefinite. But it never lasts. My canned goods, or my home canned goods, never usually go beyond 3 years because the whole family, you guys, everybody comes in here and, this is the first grocery store. Oh, and not to mention, or not just that, when she does go to the grocery store, if she sees like green beans that are on sale or cornets on sale, and she buys extra for her pantry, she'll always buy extra and say, here, this is for the pantry at home, because everybody pitches in this pantry. It's not just me doing all this work and feeding everybody. Everybody pitches in. And they really pitch in when it comes, canning season, tomatoes, and especially pickles. Everybody loves pickles. So, but what was I saying? Because I tend to go off on a tangent. Anyway, my home canned goods will last up to 3 years. But rice, we're back to rice. Rice, if you get rice, you can get like 25 pounds of rice. And, if it's a buck, if you can get it for $1 a pound, I'm not sure about how much you can get it for, but that's like $25, $30. And there you go, you got rice for a long time. You got rice for well more than a year.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to get that much rice in a year, so you could stock your pantry for a couple years at a time. And pasta, the same thing. You can you can go and you can get even rice in bulk. If you want to buy it in bulk, you can get the 1 pound packages and package it up, or you can buy a huge bag. I think you'd be better off buying a 25-pound bag or bigger, because the more you buy, the less it's going to be. And pasta the same way. I noticed when I've gone to the little Amish store, they have the bulk food store down here. You can get pasta 10 pounds, 10 or 15 pound bags at a time. So that's nice, because you can always, if you got a vacuum what are they called? Food savers. You can package it in smaller packages. So that's good too, because you wouldn't need to really buy no more than about 25 pounds to stock your pantry to start with. 25 pounds of rice, 25 pounds of pasta. That's nice. That's nice to have in your pantry. And it wouldn't cost you that much. And the way you're talking, when you're going to the store and once a month and you personally are having $100 to $150 left over, wow, you can really stock that pantry and fast. And that's good budgeting. Anyway, so after that, with that, you can buy, let's see, flour, pasta. You guys eat a lot of beans?
In the summertime, we eat a lot of beans for barbecues and chili.
Yeah, okay. So beans are the same way. Beans have pretty much an indefinite shelf life. And the same way, the same thing, you can buy beans in bulk too. So, okay, the other thing you're going to go through, and you guys, I don't know if you go through a lot of oats or not. Oatmeal?
No.
No, so you probably wouldn't buy any oats. But you like granola.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll buy my oats, right?
Yeah.
You'll buy oats for this pantry. Oats are the same thing. Oats have a nice long shelf life. And let's see, the breads and the flours. The first thing is, because you do a lot of baking too. You and Sadie do a lot of baking. My little blonde-haired granddaughter that I call Tootsie Bell. This is her stepmama. And they do a lot of baking together. So you would be good for flour. You guys want to stock flour. And I don't know how much you go through. I go through a load of flour. I buy my flour in 50-pound bags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I go through a lot of flour. I make bread and, yeah, I make too much. And now I got to slow down on it because my husband now was told he's pre-diabetic, and I'm like, oh, okay. No more goodies for him for a while. Gotta slow down anyway. But flour you can buy in bulk. I went into Aldi's. You don't have to buy great big 50-pound bags of flour because I went into Aldi's and they had 5 pound. I got some in my thing in my closet over there, but I'm not going to open it because the camera's right there. But Aldi's had a sale. Gosh, it was last year. And I went in there and they had the flour, 5-pound bags of flour for $1.09 a bag. And I grabbed the whole case, you know, and I think I grabbed 2 of them and put them in. But for that price, you know,
you can't beat that.
No, not at all. You can't beat that. So that's how you buy your flour because it's packaged separately. And with flour only has about a 6 to 9 month shelf life because it can get buggy.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do with flour is if you buy flour, and if you get a good deal on flour like that and you want to stock it, you can store flour in your freezer. Flour in the freezer will last indefinitely. Never have to worry about it. Just take it out of your freezer, you know, a bag at a time or whatever, if you got a nice deep chest freezer. If not, or you don't use flour a whole lot, you can store it in the freezer. That's the best way to store it. Me, I don't because I use it so fast. A 50-pound bag of flour, once I start baking bread and cinnamon rolls and cookies and, you know, pies and stuff, I could go through a 50-pound bag of flour in a month. Easy. So, with that, you want flour. Yeah, it says right here, I wrote it down, 6 to 12 months in a sealed container in the fridge, which I don't leave mine in the fridge either. Or, yeah, I don't store mine in the fridge. It'll last 6 to 9 months, I was always told on the, at least with mine, I was always told on, in your pantry. Otherwise, in the freezer, indefinite. Okay, now we're on to flour, so we are going to work on our baking supplies because you can store a lot of that right in your pantry, and it's got a long shelf life. And cornstarch is #1. You use a lot of cornstarch when you bake, and you use a lot of that for gravies, and you guys have a lot of gravy. So, and flour, I don't know about you, but I never use flour for gravy. I always use cornstarch.
Yeah.
Because when you heat something up, if you make, like, you know, hamburger gravy over potatoes, and you use flour for your gravy base, okay, which a lot of people do because they do the roux, and it's flour. I don't do that. I have my own bouillon and stuff. But so I use the cornstarch for my gravies because when I use the flour, the next day when you heat it up, it's got that flour sticky, yeah. And when you use the cornstarch, it don't have that. It's got a nice flavor. So you can, let me write this down. You're going to want cornstarch. And you can buy that in bulk too. And I always think it's funny because people say, cornstarch, I want mine aluminum free. Yes, you can have cornstarch has aluminum in it, or cornstarch you can get the aluminum free. I always buy the aluminum free. So, it sometimes Depends on what brand it is. Sometimes it can be a little more expensive. Now I've had people tell me, oh, baking soda. Yeah, I get the aluminum free. I'm sorry, there is no aluminum in baking soda. That's baking powder, and people, that's where people get mixed up between baking powder and baking soda. But number 6, you want baking powder. We're writing her a list, friends, for when she goes shopping, she can cross off her list. Okay, you can buy cornstarch in a bulk. That's got a long shelf life. It can last right in your pantry in an airtight container. Baking powder, same thing. It can last a long time, and it comes. I don't get mine in a box. I always get mine. No, that one was cornstarch. My baking powder I get in the little, because I get it from Myers, and it comes in the little things. But I get big containers of it because I use a lot of it. But you can buy that in bulk too, and you can get it very cheap. And after baking powder, we've got, again, baking soda, which also has a nice long shelf life, and you can keep it right in your pantry. And baking soda you can use for so many things. I use baking soda in cooking. I use it for odors. I use it in making my deodorant. I use it for cleaning supplies. I use it in my laundry soap. I use it to clean with. I use baking soda. And well, where's it at? This, friends, is how I buy my baking soda. I buy it in a great big 64-ounce, 4-pound containers. I usually buy my baking soda because I use so much of it. This stuff is a must-have in your pantry. You can use it for so many things, and greatest stuff in the world. But I buy you can buy it probably in bigger, I'm sure you can buy it in bigger containers, but if you got this in a 4-pound container, now I got this, it's a Clover Valley, so this obviously is Dollar General.
Yeah.
This is a Dollar General. I don't know how much I paid for it, probably more than if I would have bought it in bulk, but I needed it. I remember that day I ran out, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I can't run out. Me run out of anything, that's not good. So you can buy baking soda in big containers. And number 8 on the list, in your pantry, start in your pantry, you guys eat a lot of peanut butter.
We go through peanut butter daily, it seems like.
You can buy peanut butter in bulk. And peanut butter, you got to be careful with that. It doesn't have the longest shelf life, so as long as it's unopened, it's going to be okay. But once it opens up, it runs a risk of going rancid really fast. And especially if you leave it out. I know a lot of people leave their peanut butter out on the counter. Well, you just shorten the shelf life. I always keep mine in the fridge. And yes, it gets hard, but you can always take it out, a little bit before you need to use it so that it'll soften up. But I keep mine in the refrigerator so that it don't go rancid. But you can stock up on peanut butter. You can buy peanut butter in bulk very cheap. Very cheap. And that's the other thing that we'll put on your list. And I know you go through peanut butter daily because Tootsie Bell eats it all the time.
Yes, Tony too.
Oh yeah, they're little peanut butter fanatics. Okay, and your oils, like this, I've got right here. This I got, and you can buy this. You can buy your oils in bulk. Just because it's bulk, or just bulk food isn't just for rice and pasta and stuff that's dry and you scoop out of bins. You can buy bulk canned goods, bulk anything, and you can buy even your oil in bulk. But this happened to be, I bought this at Meijer, and it was like, I think I had a coupon at that time for this for $4 or $5, I think I paid for it. And also, probably one of the first times in my life that I ever combined a coupon with an in-store sale, because they usually say, oh, it excludes in-store sales. You know that? Don't you hate that?
Yeah.
You go to the big cities, how do these people do extreme couponing? I have no clue. But anyway, I got this with a coupon, plus it was buy one, get one free. Wow. So I probably ultimately wound up paying $2.50 a piece for these.
Nice.
So that's nice. That's olive oil. And that's a good, a good brand of olive oil. But you keep oil I keep olive oil and vegetable oil in my pantry at all times. So you're going to want that too. And that's fine. That's going to last for, it's going to last for a long time. It's got a long shelf life as long as it's not opened. But once you open it, I go through olive oil quite a bit. Stir fry. I use it for everything. And as much as I bake and use oil, it never lasts. I'm always restocking my pantry on oils. And shortening, the same thing. Shortening is nice to have in your pantry. I'm going to write that down for you. Shortening is good for, baking, and you can use it for frying, of course. Me, I use it for making candles. You remember my candles? Yeah, makes good candles. But shortening is a nice thing. Oils and the liquid and oils and the solids are nice to have. They're a good pantry staple, and they got a long shelf life. And you can use them for a lot of things. So, you're going to want that. Number 10 would be, let's see here. Oh, I know you're not going to do oats, but I'm going to tell other people that they can get oats because oats they have a longer shelf life. And you can buy it in bulk. You can package it. You can repackage it in smaller containers, or if you want to stock for a prepper, if you want to start a prepper pantry, I'm really not the one to talk to because I don't really prep for 30 years, Not that it's a bad thing, because it can be a good thing, because where are we all going to go when shit hits the fan? Yeah. We're going to run to the neighbor who's a prepper. We're going to run, hell, I'm going to come with my little pantry and they're going to put me to shame. Anyway, but you get oats. The way I go through oats, the next time I buy oats, it's going to be about a 25-pound bag, because I make granola. My family goes through granola like crazy. I just made this. Let's see. I'll show them. I just made this big tub of granola. What? You were here, weren't you?
It was Tuesday. Tuesday.
I made enough to fill this twice. It was Tuesday, and this is what I've got. Because she went shopping. Oh yeah, I'm taking some of that. Tony says that's my midnight snack. So the next time I buy oats, it'll be, and I'm writing oats on your list because that's for me. Yeah. The next time I buy oats, it's going to be in about a 25-pound bag, because they do have a long shelf life too. So brings us to sugar. Sugar is always a must-have in a big pantry staple. Not just sugar, but powdered sugar. And brown sugar. But as you know, right here, I make my own brown sugar. It is the greatest stuff in the world. And I do have a video, friends, of making your own brown sugar. It's fantastic. It's got so much of a... I make mine on a black treacle. And it's got just a fantastic flavor. That's why it's so dark. But yeah, I make my own brown sugar. But sugars are a pantry staple. And you can buy sugar in bulk. You can buy powdered sugar in bulk. You can buy brown sugar in bulk if you don't want to make your own. If you do want to make your own, you want to get extra white sugar and molasses. And molasses has nearly an indefinite shelf life, just like maple syrup. It's not, the sugar content is too high for anything to happen or grow in it. So, oats, let's see, number 11 is sugars. And that would be your granulated, powdered, and brown. And really how much you buy depends on how much you want to store and how rapidly you use it.
Yes. Because
nothing worse than being in the middle of a baking session on a video and run out of sugar. I've done that. Oh, man. And I do buy huge amounts. So that's what you're going to want. And they all have a nice long shelf life. And then after sugar, molasses. If you want to make your own sugar or molasses, you can use molasses in a lot of things, and maple syrup. You can use them in a lot of recipes. So it's always nice, if you don't use it very often, it's still nice to have a smaller bottle, and you can still buy those in bulk too. So I'll write down molasses. And then, let's see, Okay. Nuts. Everybody's nuts and jerky. Beef jerky and nuts. Everybody go. Well, there's a lot of people with nut allergies, but if you don't have a nut allergy, my family, you guys go through nuts and jerky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
We go through jerky just as much as peanut butter.
Yeah, yeah. So, number 13 would be nuts, and number 14 would be jerky. I make my own jerky. We do our own jerky.
Me too.
I don't. Yeah, it's best when you make your own, but you can still buy that in bulk too, and you can buy nuts in bulk. Nuts, they do not have a long shelf life. You have to keep them in the fridge or the freezer, otherwise they will go rancid. And I know I had done, gosh, I did I don't remember what it was I did, but I was using sunflower nuts, sunflower kernels, and little Tootsie Bell, I wasn't thinking, because I always put it on my freezer. She stuck them up in the cabinet. And I don't use them all too often, not those. I now use walnuts and pecans and all the others quite readily. But the sunflower nuts I didn't use. Well, I saw them up there the other day when I moved something aside, and I saw them up there, and I thought, oh my, you know, they were already rancid. And it hadn't even been maybe 2 months. So, yeah, they went rancid that quick. It's the oils in them. But anyway, so if you're going to get nuts, you can get them in bulk. They're a lot cheaper in bulk, but you got to store them in the freezer. So, that's freezer section. But still counts for your pantry because your freezer is an extension of your pantry.
Yes.
Oh boy. Are we going too fast? We already did all this, and I did all this, the codes and the, no, that's nothing. I already covered, I touched base with all that, the product dating and the expiration dates when I did that, my last one. Oh, salt. Speaking of, salt and pepper. Salt is indefinite. Salt has an indefinite shelf life. You always want salt and number pepper. Okay, we've got 16 of them down here. And I think that's all I had on my list for just beginning. And stuff that you can buy in bulk, like, you know, the barrels and stuff. And the bulk canned goods, you know, you can get them too. And what's nice to have those is like your veggies, your basics, your green beans, your corn. You guys eat a lot of both.
Yes. Carrots.
Yep. Well, you don't have to, because take a look behind you. I canned over 100.
We don't need to.
Hang on. I canned over 100 pounds of, no, what was it? 60. Yeah, over 100 pounds of carrots 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I still got that, and one of my shelves in the pantry, or in the pantry closet, it's still full of carrots. Because these little guys eat them all the time. They love carrots. It's their favorites.
Can we go outside?
No, not yet, baby.
On the back porch?
You gotta wait just a little bit. We're almost done here, okay? And then we'll go play. Okay. All right, sweetie. So you don't have to buy carrots, but yeah, veggies would be beans, corn, and carrots. You wait till your pantry. Wait till you're ready to start putting your stuff in it, because then you'll come shopping here first. Because the carrots, yeah, 2 years ago I canned all those, so you gotta have some of those. And what else? Like spaghetti sauces. I can make my own spaghetti sauce. What did I do that one year? 2 years ago? You had my spaghetti sauce last year, didn't you guys?
Yeah, for goulash.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. I think I did 60 quarts of it, and it was gone inside of 3 months. So my family eats a lot of tomatoes. I still have to put up, I think I do 60 to 70 quarts of just stewed tomatoes, and then that same amount of sauces. And we still run out. Whew, that's a lot. That's like, you can get like 20, I think I get about 20 quarts of stewed tomatoes out of a bushel. So it's almost between 8 to 9 bushels of tomatoes that I put up every year between stewed tomatoes and spaghetti sauce. And the spaghetti sauce is gone in 3 months. And this time the stewed tomatoes, oh my goodness. Do I got any over there?
I'm not seeing any.
I only got 7 quarts left, friends. And I did about 70 quarts of them last year. And I've got 7 quarts left, and I won't be doing stewed tomatoes. It's only April. So, see, I've got to go. I know what my family eats. And the other thing, the most important thing, when you're stocking your pantry, you don't put anything in there that your family's not going to eat. What good is that? Unless you get something on such a good deal and your neighbor or your friend's got something that you want.
Yeah.
You know, like I told them before when I did mine, I do a little bit of bartering. You know, like the powdered milk. That's another thing. We're going to put that down. That is another thing. I can't believe I forgot to add powdered milk. Powdered milk. I don't like to drink it.
No.
It's not good to drink, but you know what? You can save a lot of. You don't. Why would you use your good vitamin D milk when you can get your powdered milk out of the cupboard and use that for your baking and you know, in your sauces and stuff like that. Anything that it calls for, your soups, you put your powdered milk in there. Don't. And not only that, I do right here. This, the hot cocoa mix for the little kids that I make. It's all out of powdered milk. Nice. And then they say, Nana, we want some more. And I keep it in a jar here because they want it creamy. So they know if they put more powdered milk in it, it's going to be. We're sorry, our camera died. We're just too long-winded for it, I guess. Anyway, we added some more to our list while our camera was charging. And what we added was to our bulk foods purchases. I wasn't even thinking of it, and she mentioned it, is spices. Spices got a real long shelf life. So, I don't buy a whole lot of spices because I grow a lot of my own stuff. And especially my parsley. See? It takes a lot, but I grew all this parsley and dried it. And this jar was full last summer. See how that is? That was full last summer. That's how much I use and how much, you know, everybody grabs, and my mom, everybody uses from this jar. So that's good. And then this year, I'll have another big bunch of it. But spices, you can get spices in bulk. And again, don't buy them if you don't use them. Because I use a lot of garlic. I use a lot of onion powder. Now, I grew my own garlic because I thought, I had the bright idea that I was going to make my own garlic powder. Good idea, but the garlic didn't do well up here. So when you can walk into the dollar store and get a little container of, you know, garlic powder for $1, why should I go through all that trouble to grow it? I mean, it tastes better, yeah, but, and you know what's in it when you do it yourself, but it doesn't do good. But I do that with onion powder and leek powder because in the spring, you know, pretty soon we're going to be hunting for morels and leeks again. And I have my jar of leek powder still over there from last year when I did the leeks. And I'm going to add to it and make it full again for the, well, not add to it. I'll do another jar and don't mix like that. But anyway, you can get spices in bulk, and it's fantastic. I grow my own dillweed. I do a lot of stuff, but like paprika, I go through a lot of paprika. I do buy that in bulk. And even Costco and Sam's, their bulk spices are a decent price, you know. So spices is another thing you want to keep in your pantry, but you don't want to keep spices that you don't use. It's just a waste of money. Anything in your pantry that you don't use, just it's no good. No good to you. Coffees. If you like coffee, now you can buy coffee in bulk. People are brand loyal to coffee. They only want one kind of coffee, and it doesn't matter if it's in bulk or not, or if it's $20 a can. That's the coffee they want. That's the coffee they're going to drink. Go for it. Because you know what? If that's all you want is that, if you're brand loyal to just that brand, you're going to save a lot of money in all the other areas of your pantry to be able to subsidize your treat. You know, works out. And cocos. You can buy cocoa in bulk for your kids. Or, like you guys can just order it. Yeah. Sadie comes home. You don't even have to order it. She tells me she wants a jar of it to take home. So, but yep, that's, and those are the things that would be a good start to your pantry. And we've got, let's see, how many do we got? 18 of them. 18, actually 20 of them. So 20 things to start out your pantry.
All right.
So read that off, and we'll make sure we got everything.
Number 1 is rice in bulk, pasta in bulk, beans in bulk, flour you can buy in bulk, cornstarch bulk, baking powder, baking soda, peanut butter, shortening, oats, sugars. What's on?
Oh, you can't read my granulated powder and brown.
Powder and brown, molasses, nuts, jerky, salt, pepper, powdered milk, spices, coffees, and cocos.
Yep, and that is a good start to a working pantry. And then, you know what? We spent so long on doing these 20 and chit-chatting about these 20, but you got an idea. So this is going to be your list.
Yes.
So when you go, you can just check off the things you want, and you can go from there. You got your list. You can now take your list and decide how much of each of these you're actually going to go through. Like, say you want to stock your pantry from year to year. Okay? You don't want to do it 5 years at a time or 20 years. You just want to go from year to year or whatever. Okay? Then you're going to decide how much you're really going to use in a year. Now, you might only use 5 pounds of baking soda in a year, but you might use, 400 pounds of flour. You know what I'm saying? So just go through, because you guys use every bit of this. This is special designed for you and our chit chat. Yep. So now all you got to do is just decide how much you're going to stock in your pantry, and then each month, after your grocery shopping is done, you can check off whichever you decide to buy, and buy it when it's on sale, whatever's on sale. Check your list to the sales, and that's how you're going to get your pantry on a budget, and it's going to be a good, working, healthy pantry, and yeah, it's going to be great. And don't forget this pantry.
I know. We won't.
Don't forget this pantry. And next time, friends, we do a chat, we're going to talk about buying the canned goods. This is just the odds and ends, and the basic staples was on this list. Next time, we'll get into stocking your pantry with the next step of staples, like canned goods and, condiments and, crackers and stuff like that, because some of those things don't have as long of a shelf life. So you don't want to overstock on them. But for now, that's it, friends. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helps you. And by gosh, if you're one out there that's watching this because you want to start your pantry, she read all this off to you. Pause it every time, write it down, and go from there, and do the same thing she does. And maybe next time she'll be here with us to tell us how she's going, or even a few months from now, because you're not going to get this all in a month. But
oh no.
You're starting from scratch, literally. She's starting from literally an empty space.
We are redoing our whole kitchen.
Yep. So she gets to start from an empty space, and we will find out. We'll keep tabs on her and find out how long it takes her to get her pantry on a budget. And you'll have to tell us how much you spent getting your pantry started, because I know they'll be very interested in that. How much you spent to get it stocked for your year, and how long it took you before you had a nice working pantry.
Oh, yes, I will.
And that would be nice.
Yes.
So, all right, friends, we'll do this again. And until next time, thank you, Lexi.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
coming. I
had
fun.
Okay, and until next time, you have a good day, and we'll talk to you again.